fireworks, hot dogs, drunk uncles dangerously twirling sparklers near their unlocked gun boxes. Ah, it must be America's birthday, July 4th, Independence Day, the favorite holiday of all U.S. citizens that aren't commies. Is where we get the chance to celebrate all the traits that make this proud nation so great. A non-authoritarian democracy with three balanced branches of government, a melting pot society of hardworking immigrants, and, of course, our unwavering love of diversity and tolerance of differences. As I continue not reading any news stories from the past 6 months, I had more pressing concerns. Was my outfit red, white, and blue enough? I mean, this seems good, but like, should I go full flag toga? But then it hit me. I had no idea how this holiday even started. What was I doing? How can I even call myself a patriot when I don't know the hidden history of Independence Day? This was no time for using Roman candles to further traumatize rescue dogs. There was always, and I do mean always, time for that later. Right now I needed answers. Who invented this? What did it really commemorate? And were the founding fathers gas or propane guys? Fourscore and seven Google tabs later, I emerged from the depths of America's basement, ready to drop this knowledge nuke on the whole world, except Iran. They can't have one. If Oppenheimer taught me anything, this is the most American thing I can do. Welcome to Hidden Holiday History. Let's learn about the birth of a nation, phrasing, and dive into the surprisingly weird origins behind the 4th of July. So, what exactly happened on July 4th, 1776? Did George Washington throw a Molotov at a redcoat? Did Thomas Jefferson scream, "We out," while dabbing in front of King George? Did James Madison do anything? Not quite, especially for the latter. Everyone knows Madison never does anything. In fact, we're actually starting out on bad footing by having the date wrong to begin with. July 4th was actually the day the Continental Congress approved the final wording of the Declaration of Independence. Not signed, not published, just finalized, like a senior thesis 10 minutes before midnight. The actual vote to declare independence, that was 2 days earlier, July 2nd. John Adams was so hype about our breakup with the Brits, he wrote to his wife Abigail saying, "The second day of July 1776 will be the most memorable epocha in the history of America." Oops. Turns out using words like epocha doesn't make your letter automatically correct. Who knew? Also, most delegates didn't actually sign the declaration until sometime in August because, travel kind of sucked in the 1700s. Though, I guess they had one up on Tesla. They already had solved the conundrum of self-driving cars. Hey, Black Betty. Stupid. So, July 4th isn't the day independence was declared or signed. It's just the day the squad agreed, yeah, this version slaps, ship it. And honestly, I can't think of a more American origin than that. Decided something mattered, didn't fully commit, still threw a party about it. Damn. Even just saying that, I tasted apple pie. Based on Adam's hype usage of Apaca, you'd think we started celebrating July 4th right away. But no. For a while, it was mostly just a vibe day. Local towns would have bell ringings, gun salutes, and awkward toasts where someone definitely said, "To liberty," before drunkenly tipping over a cow. The real push for July 4th celebrations came later, especially around the War of 1812. We were beefing with the British again and needed a solid, patriotic banger. Unfortunately, Ludacris wasn't born yet, so our early national ancestors did what they could. It wasn't chicken and beer, though. Many brainstorming jam sessions happened between genociding an indigenous population, I imagine. Over the next few decades, following the inevitable path capitalism forces all holidays onto, July 4th became less about revolution and more about selling things to people, throwing parades, and giving speeches no one wanted to hear, except maybe MAGA, I guess. In 1870, almost 100 years after the Declaration, Congress finally made it an official federal holiday. And in 1938, they made it a paid day off. Because nothing says freedom like being off work and day drunk at a 7-Eleven parking lot. America. You know what July 4th is and kind of how it started. Now, let's get to the fun stuff. The weird, the random, and the surprisingly global. No, I'm not talking Clint Eastwood. I said random, not racist. Let's dive into Independence Day's weirdest facts and discuss some oddly telling global clones. 1. The founding fathers were obsessed with dying dramatically. So, Maybe Lin-Manuel Miranda was onto something when he turned a generation of theater kids into U.S. history buffs. Get this, 3 presidents have died on July 4th: Thomas Jefferson, John Adams, and James Monroe. When it comes to Jefferson and Adams, they even went so far as to die on the exact same day, July 4th, 1826, the 50th anniversary of the Declaration they helped write. Talk about dudes changing up when the girls come around. I don't even know what that means, but okay. In fact, Adams' final words reportedly were, "Thomas Jefferson survives." He was wrong, of course. Jefferson had died hours earlier. However, I find solace in knowing that, even in the throes of death, these two were still having a freedom-themed pissing contest. We know from extensive research by the definitely credible lab 23andMe that Jefferson historically pulled more holes. Sorry, Adams. Visit France and get your riz up. 2. One July 4th celebration ended in a duel. Well, at least one. To be honest, I imagine it was a whole lot more. In one particular case, though, back in 1801, a July 4th parade in New York got American version of habanero spicy when 2 prominent citizens were in an argument over who was more patriotic. Seeing as this was 1801 and the woke mob hadn't invented toxic masculinity to kill off real men yet, naturally they decided to have a duel about it. One guy got shot in the leg, the other got arrested. Both got kicked out of the 1776 Content House. ACAB was still true, and some anthropologists wonder if this was an early sign of cancel culture. Maybe. No consensus has been reached. Moral of the story? Freedom ain't free, especially if you're out here slapping homies with gloves, declaring your desire to fence over fireworks. Chill out, my pilgrim. 3. Big Hot Dog gets a nice bag every year. In 1916, the Nathan's Hot Dog Contest supposedly began, but in actuality, it was a PR stunt made up in the 70s. Much like the infamous Got Milk campaign, Nathan's contest worked very well. These days, Americans consume over 150 million hot dogs every July 4th. That's significantly more than the little over 300,000 bald eagles estimated to live in the continental U.S. Per usual, we have our priorities exactly where they should be. Don't believe me? Well, I'll have you know that July 4th also sees more ER visits than any other U.S. holiday. Who has time to worry about protecting birds when there's stuff to blow up in America? Fireworks, alcohol, and Uncle Ray's homemade pyrotechnic barbecue sauce don't mix, but blind patriotism and privatized insurance were a match made in CEO heaven. If you've never heard of that, don't worry about it. It's very exclusive. It's like harder to get into than threading a camel through a needle's eye, and I doubt you could afford entry. Are you an American? If yes, are you sitting? Brace yourself. This may shock you. Other countries besides our own exist. I know. I tried to annex Canada when I found out. But not only do they exist, they also get down in early July with their own independence parties too, some of which we even helped get started. Here's some fun similar celebrations done by our global cousins. Over in Southeast Asia, our Pinoy brethren also had their Independence Day on July 4th because we gave it to them in 1946. Then later we told them to pick another day. Seriously, that's real. The US can be such a... Huh. You know, I have a feeling that if I said Indian giver, that might have a bad history behind it. I wonder where that came from. Just a feeling. Jumping over to East Africa, we visit the lovely land of 1,000 hills, Rwanda. However, this one isn't about fireworks at all. You see, sometimes independence is a matter of survival. Their Liberation Day on July 4th is celebrating the end of Rwandan genocide. Go RPF, but that's heavy stuff, man. Now, detouring back northeast and wondering, is this not just Norway? We find ourselves in Denmark, where they have the annual Rebuild Festival, a festival meant for celebrating the freedom of America. Huh, that's actually real. The Danes apparently get together in the forest and wave U.S. flags because they love us that much. You ever party so hard that your ex-colonizers' friends throw you a celebration? Don't rush to visit anytime soon. For some reason, I feel like it might not happen this year. So, yeah, you thought this was just fireworks and freedom fries. But turns out July 4th is really poetic, low-key international, and has the usual hidden profit motive buried under all those leftover hot dog buns. And I didn't even mention who wasn't invited to the first few July 4th barbecues. A couple of people, actually, or groups of them, rather. I've been Kevin Midas. This has been Holiday Hidden History, 4th of July. It didn't need to exist, but you're happy it did. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe.